Great. Hello and welcome to the Poetry Playhouse series from Placitas, New Mexico. We used to call this the Cactus series, but since we're no longer at the Cactus Brewery, we're at the Poetry Playhouse. We've changed the name. There's also a little change in the format going forward. We're having one feature rather than two, plus a little conversation with the featured poet after her reading. And that we hope that will allow for a less crowded evening and more relaxed open mic. So we're extremely pleased, honored, and thrilled to have, I think maybe the first or one of the first readings by Anna Martinez since she assumed the mantle of poet laureate of Albuquerque a few weeks ago. And she has a busy schedule. Next week, she has at least two events, the Poetry and Beer event in Albuquerque and the Voices of the Barrio. That's Wednesday and Thursday. And Jules will put her website in the chat where you can find out more information about that. Anyway, we're very pleased. We used to see Anna quite often down at the Voices of the Barrio series. And she is, well, I'm not going to say anything except that, you will be surprised and delighted. So Anna Martinez was born in LA, but she is a true New Mexican, raised in Espanola, the heart of northern New Mexico. And she is an attorney, a civil rights attorney, does work for the legislature, as well as now the poet laureate. And she'll tell you later about her exciting project as poet laureate. She's been a champion slam poet and haiku city champ, and she's held a number of different titles. She's also on the board of directors for the Berkeley Revolt Poetry Slam. She was the headliner poet for the recent 2022 Redwood Poetry Festival in Eureka, California. And she's the in-house poet at Las Pistoleras Instituto Cultural del Arte in Taos. So an incredibly civically engaged poet, and I think she's going to make a fabulous poet laureate. She will be reading, at least in part, from a book that was quite recently published by a New Mexico press, Casa Urraca, and it's called Pura Puta. It's a beautiful cover here, and it's a poetic memoir that goes from her childhood, from her ancestry on up to the present. I'm very keen on the poetic memoir genre, and this is one of the most exciting ones that I've read. It is in turn humorous, endearing, and terrifying. So with that, please welcome Anna Martinez.
Thank you so much, John. Thank you both, Jules and John, for having me. Thank you all for coming and signing up to be here. I'm really happy to be here. I apologize. My eyes tend to disappear when I'm smiling. I can't have both my smile and my eyes open at the same time. But whatever. I'm just going to jump right in, and I'm going to start with a poem that gives you a little bit of an idea of who I am, I guess. This is called Don't Be Nice. People, nice people, are afraid to say things I am not. People like to be seen as nice, to play nice. Ooh, you look nice. How can I say this nicely? Could take nice and shove it. Nice is for people that cannot handle the truth of our times, who cannot handle our tears, who expect us to handle the truth in a way that still benefits you at our expense because we're nice, right? Too strong not to get over it, right? Heard from the very first time till the day that we die. Nice is a bitch with a blocked throat chakra, choking the chicken of truth, mistaking quiet for peace. Don't mistake her for me, simply because I can be kind. Mistake my kindness for niceness at your own risk. Nice does not rock the boat, baby. Kind is a lagoon, crowning a tsunami. Nice, well, nice is worried about upsetting people in the grand old scheme of things. Kind does what is right. Nice, well, nice turns the other cheek, especially when it sees unkind with its own eyes. Kind takes names and kicks ass. Nice is busy being liked. Kind is busy being kind, pissing people off, simply existing, gone mad, as kind people tend to feel things crazy, dramatic, when actually kind is knowledge and power. And right about now, fucking furious. At my age, I avoid shit, confrontations, because I'm afraid of me, not you. I'm afraid of my own God damn bursts of kindness, furious floods of sadness, divine mother magic, somehow, somewhat, always relabeled as madness. Swallow those cheers. Cheer up, buttercup, buck up. What is wrong with you? Is all of that and reason enough for tears? You see, kindness, set point for all human existence. That's nice. Some shit's sad, should make you downright mad. Instead, we learn it polite, to live and die in a lie about the heart's truth, muffle its beat, our strongest muscle defeated, muzzled, in pursuit of false acceptance, muddled, in a world drowning in saccharine. Nice. Be kind, kind, with a nerve to walk your own beat like a Zora Neale Hurston, like dust tracks on the road, like every tongue has got to confess, because if you are silent about your pain, they'll kill you and say you enjoyed it. Indeed. Glory be, Ms. Z. So no offense, but I will not bite my tongue to save your face so you can rewrite my tale twisted, so you can appear to play nice victim, because you know I don't play. Yeah, that kind. Make you mad, not suffered the way you expect. Oh, my bad, not offered the other cheek, Christ-like, not nice. And sometimes the most Christ-like thing that you can do is put a motherfucker in his place. You see, anger too is kind and Christ-like. Part of you that knows injustice, abuse, oppression, unacceptable, anger, part of you that knows that you deserve to be treated with kindness, anger, part of you that loves you and would rather see them walk away, boy, than go blind to their disrespect. You see, anger too is kind, Christ-like, and don't let them get you twisted, and don't let them save you for later, like heaven. Just kill them now with kindness. Thank you. I'm just going to roll into my next one. This one and this next one I'm going to read are my two most recent poems that I've written that came out after my book publication. So even though I kind of wrote this at a time where I did not have any paper, so it's in my book, even though it's not in my book. It's handwritten in my book, but anyway, it's called Ghostwrite. This is what happens when you live in a small community with lots and lots of poets. You're my corner of heaven, he pleads, my space, my peace. Yeah, spell that last one for me, please, I say as I leave and think that's what I get for seeing a writer. Reads like desired, but never really wanted. Stuck in the footnote of his page, knowing full well his heaven, my cage, gilded as he may. My illustration, pillow fluff, for his quiet time of night, or nights of timeless time, but only in his desiring mind, where I am the tolerable kind. Just a thought in a line in a poem in his book, just a thought on his mind when orgasm shook him to the fold, like fingering his own spine, like mesmerized between covers till the very last lie, like a sweet epilogue every time, but only in his desiring mind, where I am the tolerable kind, opened wide at the center fold, then sticky wad hastily tossed at the nightstand trash can, no longer even saved for maybe one day, simply worn like prophylactic dust jacket stripped off in the clarity of day, because heaven forbid anyone see that home and heaven could read like me. His story judged by my thick soft cover, please. Not the only one with a nightstand trash can spilling crumpled wads of gilded page, sticky, filled, science, fiction, fantasy, fetish, dysmorphic, dystopic. Not the only one ashamed of the palm full of horror that came at the sound of my name sputtering from their lips. Oh my God, please, moving their lips as they read, keeping a dirty little journaled secret of me, piece of me intertwined in their storied lines, spelled out like Horcrux on their brain. Just call me she who will not be named, only opened their clothes as they pray not to snitch my name out loud at the wrong time, as my lips touch heaven in their head, knowing I will not be willingly led, shoved into their little corner of it, spellbound. How else they felt for me, the looks of me, the likes of me, default to fat old hag. When last night it was voluptuous, abundant, enchantress. Witch, you're a bitch, please. Like he's the only one that thinks projected nocturnal emissions of me will keep the cold side of my bed warmed, for there may be one day, when it's hard to get it hard anymore, like one leg on the other side, like it's time to think on it before dying in the wedding spot of it, never knowing it, just satisfied flowing it into a sticky wad hastily tossed at the nightstand trash can, dusty romance or lusty locked and hoarded Dewey Decimal catalog coded till the day they finally cave. Don't be that knave, showing up like a page, final chapter, half erect, half empty, half cut prints, as if I'd spend the rest of my thigh-high sighs opening their minds from the inside, lip reading braille between their lines, when my entire storyline here is to love and be loved. Isn't that yours too? In the flesh, in real time, in the magical realism space of I write my own lines. All I need from you, all I need to make my story complete, the key is to recall, love, remember those ripped out, tossed away pages of me, chapters of me left incomplete, cut away onto the floor, once rejected, now reworded, rebound, edited, new release. God. Oh, sorry, I still crack up every time I read that one. I haven't read that one very much, just a couple of times, but I'm just gonna keep on moving because I'm starting to blush. So I'm gonna do a poem for my mama, about my mama who brought song into my life. I came from my dad, who is an artist, a beautiful contemporary oil painting artist, and my mom, who's a singer. And of course, I can't even draw a stick figure or carry a single tune. So this is to my mama, who taught me that I do have song inside of me. It's called Corrido de Lucia Alma. My mom, Lucia Alma, her name means light of the soul, and she is. And though we always wondered, mostly her, why she named me Anna Carol instead of Ana Lucia, now I know my name means I am God's joyful song. Even though I could not carry a tune, just keep your day job, mija, my dad would say. But my mom, she's God's joyful song. And back in the day, nothing lit up her soul like Little Richard's real rock and roll. Ahí les va el corrido de Lucia. with a flip of her long sponge roller curlers shining like licorice and a smack of her always lipsticked lips. She flips through the pile, slips, picks, smiles, slowly slips the vinyl from its sleeve, caresses by the edges between her palms, blows at it for old dust, holds it at the label, shines it on her sleeve, sets it with reverence on that turntable platter in a manner of sacrificial feast to that music beast, Magnavox console stereo, whose dropped needle always found the wax smooth of the right groove, yet crackled with so many battle scars from so many sunset to sunrise, Spaniada drinking, spilling, flipping, 45 flipping, spinning, twisting, cackling, smoking Spania Saturday nights. Can't you leave that than me looking out my back door? Lo mucho que te quiero, can't get no color TV, cause dialing $4 picked a fine time to leave me. Lucy knew all the words, but she had to memorize them first. She would toss her 5 kids outside, lock the door from behind. Too nice to be inside, she'd say, as she pulled out her pad to write and write, memorize, sing it high, try it low, do it again. Her lower lip pinched white between her teeth. She'd slip her thumb under that stylus to lift and go back, slip it into the right groove, verse, sing line for line, etched into her mind and out the window, recorded for all of time and mine, in bass rumbles and treble tremors. That Magnavox rocked the entire neighborhood. Vecinos, escuela, plaza, morada, iglesia, convento de la Vía Nueva de la Santa Cruz de la Cañada. But for now, Lucy's got a plan, and she sends him out for another bottle of wine and a 6-pack of Cracker Jack, because I get 2 boxes to babysit. But I do it for free just to get my hands on those LPs and 45s tucked inside that Magnavox stereo console beast, where she would rack a stack of 45s, post in front of the mirror before he arrives, and in a pink can Aquanet aerosol cloud beehive came to life, styling, singing Maybelline, lipstick smack garnet red, a buzzard going in her head, a knockout known by guys for miles around for her tiny waist and her healthy thighs. But she's got her man, and she just wants to dance, and all dolled up, he don't stand a chance. And once he's back, she insists, he's convinced, she can't resist, and she holds out her hand to lift him off the couch for a bit of practice. Hands on her waist, hers on his hips. She bit her lip and steps 1, 2, cha-cha-cha, guiding him, because he's watching his feet. 1, 2, cha-cha-cha, let's do it again. But Han, he rolls his eyes. 1, 2, cha-cha-cha, he drops her hand. 1, 2, cha-cha, stomps her toe. But she's not through. She pulls up her skirts for a bit of slip to slip. She dips her knees and sways her hips to let this dance off begin. All right, so mashed potato then. Do the twist, the swim, the jerk, hitchhike. Got to pony like Boney Maroney, do the stroll, do the Watusi. She knows them all, his little Lucy, and hell, he can't help but grin, and she's going to do it again. And this time they spin and meet eye to eye, nose to nose, chin to chin, hip to hip, then lip to lip, just in time for Friday night at that dive at the end of Riverside Drive with a bright neon sign calling out to both saints and sinners. Whew. All right, so I'm gonna take off the glasses and I'll do this next one. I'm just gonna keep on rolling. This one is called Girl Who Would Be King. This is for the baby girls out there. Girl who would be you, me, girl who would be king. Look in the mirror, really look past your reflection, deep into the unique, important magic from the moment you first inhaled purpose. Card you were dealt, empress, goddess, from the moment you first bled, though by then, pimp strategy of the world will begin its attempt to fracture you to zero, to size 0, to sell you for nothing, to see you bleed self-esteem, to sell you everything. But what it doesn't understand is, don't fuck with the universe. No, that you are the universe. Look again. You'll never be as beautiful, young, vibrant as you are now in this mirror divine song. Beware the boy who says, what makes you beautiful is that you don't know that you are. Know that you are. Truth. Stand there. Become revolution. Own it. And let it go at the same time, because they never intended woman as property owner, only property as you are earth herself. Know that somebody is always going to try to take the ground where you stand. So stand. They'll scorch you and attempt to save you. Plot, survey, subdivide, call you virgin, whore, dog, bitch, crone, witch, sin, just to get you to give up, give in. But each of us is all of them anyway. The sooner we embrace their labels, the sooner they lose propriety. They will never call you home. God, master, Jedi, expert, wizard, enough. But you are. All of it, the whole of the world. Feel it, feel it, heal thyself within thyself. They will be offended. You experience heaven there. You know that. Offenders always offended. And you've seen their demon. She's you, as is their hell. Sit there inside of that place in their construction of you. You don't know where those demons howl. Take her, face her, swallow, digest, release her shame. One howl at a time. Won't be none of their hell left when you are done. Don't you know? Even the son of war and love is love. Honey spun divinity unto and of yourself, slithering belly upon the ground into golden stars underneath your own feet. Pillar of salt, demons hissed by your own writhing hair. Dare to feel, disturb their universe. Dare to feel, because when you feel, you live, and when you live, you defy their everyday deaths, even if it is just to get up out of bed and face yourself again, even if your superpower is darkness. As their murmur forgotten burials of ancestors planted that spark and Big Bang generations, universes as you are, as I am, love and life itself in this moment, in this banging galaxy in the mirror. So I have a couple more for you. Gonna roll right in. This one is called Venus Rose. Apparently it's your shore I've always wandered. Only place I see my mark, temporary as it may be, seen by me and only when I look back in time. Filled, washed in the foam, Venus Rose of this earth of oceans crashing even before the wind, soul with toes already in the abyss. Just let your mind roll on, path of 9. 1 degree shy of perfection anyway, and then there you are, the one. The cool blue I followed from a distance of no real force of my own, of elemental geometric echoes of Earth 5, Venus 6, 11, perfection plus 1 or 2 ones or simply 2, I don't know. I don't argue numbers. I can argue anything. Ask my dad, who rather than smack this insolent Catholic girl, simply shook his head and said, you could be a lawyer when you get older. Taught from early on to read, reason, argue anything right, infinitely divide, if only it was as simple as times, addition, subtraction of love. Hard enough to be Venus in the sky, all black as the dark night she was, pock marks, blemishes, from arrows being fired from so high above them, from arrows fired from her being so high above them, all hoping to be her first, her only, disfigurement, deflection, up close, reflection and battle, freeze dried, scarred, drop a lit match and black hole of her mouth, she'll flicker smoke from a bottomless fire that you do not forget her as 8 Earth years equal 13 Venus. If only it was as simple as love, lust, intellect, chemistry, morality, mortality, but cosmic, molecular. How the fuck do you fight that? Universes turn on our dance and I am terrified. I tried all the ways, all the channels leading in and out to hang, drop, tie the knot, spin the path of the fool, the witch, the orbit, the bard, the goddess, the whore, the swallow, the 4, the orbit, the bitch, the sword, the wrist, the 3, the 6, the 9, the truth, the fear is no longer having to fear it. The everlapping shore he ever walked looking for her, where he left her, Aphrodite lassoed face first onto the shore, left for lost bobbing foghorn blows, driftwood carved in licks by mood of your moon, brushed against your legs as you wade and wander, crashed against the rocks of your lighthouse, caught in the ebb there, the orbit, never your favorite poet, I could be your favorite witch, but I suck at math. The kid in me, though, loves spirograph, all plastic wheels, cogs, straight pins, colored pens, no artistic bone. But I could create spinning song. Thing about magic, you can't have it if you doubt it. No matter that you go, where you go, how long you go, how far you go, who you dance with while you're gone, you will spin back. At least in a millennium and a half, if we don't meet here now in these lifetimes in between, these flybys that shred me, the tug, harrowing, yet not enough to drag you back around this time, only to draw the curve of a petal, like the throat of a swan, like the half of a wand on that abalone shore. Beauty just doesn't quite grasp the fire and ice heart-driven rose of our dads, your Venus, your fire at your desire, never get away, equally fucked, ever searching the horizon for that one end, so eternally spectacular anyway. There's no need to fear it. Just turn, water closing all around, and let this heavenly body fly. So the last one is called Capitan. And I call it Zapata because that's what it's about. That night, Zapata washed my feet. Handlebar whiskers scratched the itch between my legs like myth, reflected in the moon on the mesa like tongue of silver sage reaching as he rides and rides underneath in the moon's watchful breath, rides and rides all night. Calor de aliente, respiras caliente, wings of exhale lead the way, the smell of earth and dirt disturbed into flight by those four legs, forged in steel, like hands carved from the dust that flies to the beat of the earth. This land belongs to those who work it with their hands, mi campesino, where it was law that money ruled all. You took it back, gave it back, plowed fields and acequias, planted schools and campesino credit unions. A politic, I forgot. Hold up, darn it. 15. The politic of confidence always incites betrayal. The city is full of sidewalks, you say, and I keep falling off them, but pay no mind to that. What with 20,000 soldiers, you overthrew the capital, Capitan, not in rape and plunder, but thirst and hunger. Knocking door to door, asking for food and water. Tráeme ese hambre, comandante. Ese sed de injusticia que te esperan mis botas. A pie y sobre el llano te llama mi llanto. Y te dibujaré con mi canto. Y serás tú, Zapata, que escucho tocándome en la mañanita. Come to me, supreme chief of the revolutionary movement of the South. Fly home like falcon, roost in my mouth. And yet remain free. As we understand that battle is left at the door, enter, and on my knees, I will remove your boots and your shame of tears as you overthrew the capital. So do me now, here, has always been my wish. Eye to eye, ojo a ojo, frente a frente, raíces enredándose, jamás seremos vencidos, never again to be defeated. The smell of earth and death disturbed into flight by our four legs, forged in steel, like hands carved in the dust that flies to the beat of earth as your eyes understand my fight and your hands recover my lands, has promised a time of truth and justice. And now rest, face buried in my chest, inhaling sweat and tears from my breast, lost in my blood, hint of copper on your lips, kiss me. Now finally find a homeland, Aslan, in aura of your crown, magic from where others turn and run, yet I stand ground and call, Oleme, in the smell of your body riddled with bullets fired from every of their rifles until emptied. Escúchame, in the laughter of 50,000 pesos, besos del traidor, mátenlo. And then in the footsteps that carried you home to Cuautla, for half the bounty. Your body photographed displayed as proof of your non-existence. So why did the one have to die for you to arrive? As between the two, who is true? As still, your horse can be seen galloping, prancing, bucking, reflecting silver under the sun. And now that time for talk is done, nothing now but await your hoofbeat. You need but reach your arm for my leap, and we will raise dust from this place. Silver-tongued sages wagging and waving as you and I finally ride away. Thank you so much, everybody. Thank you, Jules and John. Thank you, everybody that show up. Love you so much. I will keep you posted on the Poet Laureate Facebook page. I surely appreciate you listening and having me here. Thanks so much.
Thank you so much, Anna. Well, I'm speechless.
Why don't everybody unmute and clap so Anna can hear you?
Unmute and around the applause. Hey!
Nicely done, Anna.
Yeah. Wow.
I love that you rocked some of your set off book. That was intense and great.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I just love your poem about women. Oh my God, that was so incredible. Thank you.
You.
And I was thinking,
Viva Zapata.
yeah, Viva.
Yeah.
Right?
The last poem, if we'd had that in history class in high school.
They don't teach you anything in school. Right?
Yeah, that tends to be
Everything
kind of
you
my
learn on your own.
signature. That's probably my most requested.
I seem to recall you doing that one.
Yeah, that's usually my what you call it, my encore.
That could have been one. I think I heard one of the first ones I heard you ever do at
Probably
at a place in a reading that I don't think even, well, the place is there, but the Winnings coffee
Oh, yeah.
about 75, 80, 100 years ago.
I know. I sure do. Miss Winnings is a stone throw from my house here.
Yeah.
Anna,
It was great that you were reading, not just reading, but performing and memorizing and doing everything you would in a performance. And it's hard to tell on Zoom.
Anna, I want to say I was there the night that you were inaugurated Albuquerque Poet Laureate. I'd never heard you before, but that night I thought, wow, are we in for a 2-year ride?
Oh yeah.
I think so. I should have dropped some disclaimers there in the beginning before I started, but I apologize.
Way to go. I love that one about your mom.
Yeah, yay. That one, I hate to have to do it sitting down because, I usually act out all the dance steps. So it's a lot of fun. I love that poem. I mean, because of my mom, I'm kind of a poet or a performer at heart. It's the performer in me that gets the poet writing.
See where you got it. Yeah.
Nice tribute. That's great.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So, anyway, this is the book, Pura Puta.
Pura Puta.
Are there any copies? Are the copies available yet?
Yeah, you can order online.
You can order online.
Yeah,
and then hopefully
you can order Amazon, Walmart, wherever you order your books. And also, I should have some next week for the Poetry and Beer and the Voices of the Barrio features.
And hopefully, hopefully Bookworks and Organic Books in Nob Hill is a great place to put your books.
And order, I just put the link to the press. I'm always supporting the actual press that publishes books, so that's another order right from there, and then bring it over to a reading and Anna will sign it, right?
Yeah, speaking of Bookworks, Amanda Sutton was is the person working the PR for my book. So I'm really
Good.
appreciative of that.
Yeah, that's
She's-
right.
She's been
Yeah.
one of the ones from the very beginning that pushed me and pushed me and pushed me. Every time I saw her, where's your book? When am I going to have your book? And it's just real serendipitous that now she was the one that was able to work on the PR
Yeah.
for it. I'm just
Yeah,
thrilled by
Amanda
that.
is just absolutely terrific. So
Yeah. And I get to work with her now as in her capacity with her new job with the city too. So
Yeah. Oh,
yeah,
that's
Yeah.
doubly blessed there with
Anna,
some Amanda.
Anna,
Yes, yes.
Bookworks is my nephew, my little nephew. So
Oh, wow. I love Bookworks. I try to go to all the shows that I can there, all the readings. I just
oh,
love that
look at my
space.
last name. Ah, the Wegerson name. That's my nephew Wyatt. Yeah, and his
Oh,
wife.
wow. That's
Oh, yeah.
awesome. Congratulations.
Well,
Thank you
I'm so
for his
glad
work.
they're promoting you. And Amanda, did you say Amanda is the person that has supported you there?
Yes, she's been actually the person doing the PR on my book. So
I'm so glad because I think that being local to do not Amazon or Walmart, but to go with local and thank you, John, for mentioning Bookworks and others. And you grew up in Española and I made a note, but I loved Matilda's in Española.
oh yeah, I love that.
Way
Was
back
a
in the
great
day, yeah.
Yeah, that was a great spot. That was just downhill from where I attended the 7th grade. We were lucky enough to have a school all to ourselves when I was in the 7th grade, Espanola Middle School. And so it was right uphill from Matilda's.
Well, people were very kind when I would try to speak Spanish.
Uh-huh. We've got good people up there. It's just the lack of opportunity that kind of has it in the spot that it's in.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So we don't have a lot of time. So why don't you tell us a little about your project for Poet Laureate of Albuquerque?
I'm very excited about my project. It's something I've wanted to do for years now. I figured I would just take it on myself because I'm one of the few poets that is not a teacher, and I have tried to kind of promote this idea, but I mean, I guess I really hadn't solidified it. So that's probably why I hadn't come into being until now. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be working with youth in the community centers where there are after school programs. And we're going to be doing a 2-part workshop with the youth there. The first part will consist of a Know Your Rights workshop and a writing workshop. So we will normally how I do this is I love to engage youth with current events. I'll bring, articles of things that are going on currently that are age appropriate for them, that I think that they should be, interested in. And then, it just brings up discussion. While we're discussing that, we can talk about the legalities of things. I have an ACLU, know your rights when you're approached by police at home, on the streets, and pulled over in your car. So we'll be going over those basic things too. And also in conjunction with that, I would like to reserve the last 20 minutes or so of each session for the parents as they're coming in to pick up their kids. If they have any legal question and answers that we could ask, and answer just general things. I think the most value that I've realized that I can give from my license is helping people maneuver the system, because people are afraid of the court system when they haven't been involved or even when they have been involved. And a lot of the times I'm having to correct things for people that shouldn't be in the system anymore. Warrants that get, bench warrants that get put out because someone was afraid to show up even for a custody hearing, and so just enlightening people and lifting the curtain a little bit as to how the system works. And so they understand these are just people doing their jobs just like we are. That's nothing to be intimidated by, so just having those discussions. And then the second part of the writing workshop would be crafting and honing the poem into its form, and also a performance workshop so that they know how to stand at the mic, take the space, not be afraid of the silence, wait for it, long enough so that they can be heard by the audience. So that in the times that I have done writing workshops with youth, that's usually the feedback that I get that is the most valuable to people, because these people that, if they're coming, they're already engaged, they're already writers, they're already creative and that's the part that they really don't know how to do. And so I love doing that, just showing them how to stand at the mic, with your feet, even with your hips, and, take the moment and how to fix the mic and breathe and wait for the audience to listen to you. And look, I just did it. That's all that usually you need to show them how to do. And I, especially with girls, it gives them like this huge, desire then to get up to the mic and share their work. So that's what I'll be doing. We're still working out the details. Just as schools are starting now and getting their after school programs kicked off. So I'm kind of getting a good rehearsal for it, as I'm working on a 4-week project at the Hispanic Cultural Center through the group that is called United Voices for Newcomer Rights. And it's with newly arrived immigrants. We're doing writing workshops with them. And then at Albuquerque, we will have a showcase of their work. So we did the first one on Sunday at the Hispanic Cultural Center. Christiane Macaron and I are doing that. I'm sure you are familiar with her. She's an amazing poet here in Albuquerque as well. She's a professor at UNM, and her and I are working this project together. So we're really thrilled about that too. So it's kind of a good breaking in to working with kids so that I can get my project kicked off the ground. And I've already had lots of groups interested. So that's kind of the point. I was hoping that the Poet Laureateship would give me like a seed project, would be the seed project for what I would really like to expand and do, because I would really love to come into schools with this. And I'd like to come into other organizations that are already reaching out to me. So, I mean, I've even had the Holocaust Center reach out to me and ask me to do some poetry and perhaps workshops there too. So I'm just thrilled to work with any of these groups that are willing, youth or anybody really. But the project that I am focusing on, at least for that I'm offered for the Poet Laureateship, is that working with you, writing and know your rights workshops.
Sounds
Glad
so
to hear about that, knowing your rights, and just,
Yeah,
being
so
a
important.
citizen and voting and all of that.
I think it's so ripe right now, the social atmosphere, because they know they have to take charge. Unfortunately, and sad to say, the way we fucked everything up, they know that they have to take charge, and they are doing it. And I'm just so proud of the youth that I've worked with and the groups, the circles that I see coming together. And I just want them to get that sense of civic engagement and pride right away early on, so that they can carry that in and understand, because there are pros and cons to knowing your rights and asserting them. They don't just fall out of the sky. You literally have to assert them over and over and over again, and be prepared to have that assertion quashed in some way. That's how it usually happens. But you're asserting your right in this moment to protect you 8 months down the line at a sentencing hearing. That's what it is. People don't understand those things. So just trying to enlighten people on things like that.
I keep hearing the Clash song. Oh, you're right.
I love the Clash.
Yeah, we all need to hear it, not just the kids.
Exactly.
That's right. We all need
Exactly.
Well,
Well,
Anna,
it's
and
good.
then I know, locally for our New Mexico Poetry Albuquerque chapter, Anna's going to be at the meeting for September.
Yes, that would be on the 10th.
Janet Ruth can.
Yeah.
But yeah, and so we'll make sure we put some of that, or put anything in the chat. And
Yeah,
anything
Janet, if you want to put something in the chat.
Yeah, I did put it in the
Yeah.
chat earlier, and I can do it again. Basically, and just to summarize, this is going to be our first in-person chapter meeting since we were on Zoom all of last year. So it's all exciting, and it's going to be September, and it's September 10. And we meet at North Domingo Baca Multi-Generational Center from 10:30 until noon. And for those of you who don't know where that is, it's near Wyoming and Paseo del Norte. And so yeah, it's going to be really exciting. We're so pleased that Anna was able to fit us in her schedule, because she is a busy lady.
Yeah.
And we're very excited to find out if there's ways that the chapter can be involved in helping with and supporting your project.
My daughter last night, she's like, Mom, did you do this? I'm like, no. Did you do that? What else do you need to do, Mom? So I sat there and kind of was naming everything to her as she was making a to-do list for me. When I saw it, I was like, oh my God, that's a page and a half. And that's like, I thought that I was all caught up, right? But I was very proud of the fact that I had remembered everything, even though I hadn't finished I hadn't completed all the tasks, I had remembered all of them. So,
Right.
whew,
Well, I'm
It's
glad
been
that your
busy.
daughter's going to help you out with the website. That's
too.
terrific. Yeah.
Me too. And
Is
also,
she-
I'll have an intern as well. Levi Romero is teaching poetry in the community this semester, and he always offers the poet laureate an intern to work with for the semester. So I'm very excited about that too.
Excellent.
Shout out to Helen if she's out there, who will be my intern as soon as we meet, and if she agrees. So that'll be nice. I'll have a little assistance on that end too.
I think Kate has a question.
Yeah.
I do. Anna, what is Voices of the Barrio? Is that?
Voice-
through the school?
Voices of the Barrio is an open mic poetry show that is hosted by one of my good friends, one of my teammates. We've been teammates in the past. We have written poems together, duets, and we kind of make a great duet team when we do poetry together. His name is Marcial Delgado. He and his wife, Stephanie, they host Voices of the Barrio. It's once a month. It's on the first Thursday of every month at El Chante Casa de Cultura on 8th Street and Central at the roundabout. And I think it begins at 6:30 or 7, but it's a beautiful space. It's a beautiful eclectic group of people that
It's
get
kind
together.
of an art gallery kind
Yes.
of thing. It's an old house and
Uh-huh.
right on the edge of downtown.
That's probably where we first met you, Anna.
I think so.
Probably,
Yeah.
I'm sure.
That's where I
Moving up
started.
and
I mean, El Chante is
Yeah.
literally my chante for poetry here in Albuquerque, because from the beginning, I mean, when I first graduated law school and was studying to pass the bar, we moved into the office where we are at now, that we're still at, right? So I was still studying for the bar, and I would all that pressure would be shoving I'd be taking in information, studying for the bar on this one side, and this side would be shoving out poems. So I'd be having to study and take poetry breaks to write them down. So sometimes when I needed that outlet, I didn't have a car at the time, and I would walk from my office to El Chante for back then it was Speak Poet, I believe. It was Andrea Serrano that had a show there. And so that's where I started and started writing poems so I could actually have a venue in that space. And then of course, Bianca became part of my think tank and social circle. And she's an amazing, amazing activist and a businesswoman that's protecting other businesses in her community. And she's wonderful. If you don't know her, please go and meet her. Bianca Enseñas at El Chante Casa del Cultura. This is her little shop. And her husband has a tattoo parlor upstairs. So it's a really beautiful mix of art and all kinds of cool New Mexico, locally made arts and crafts and stuff. And there's always an art show going on in there. So there's always a show every month. There's a different art show going on.
If you know Albuquerque at all, it's right across the street for what used to be called the Hotel Blue, and it's by the park where they have the farmers market on Saturdays.
Right by the roundabout.
Yeah.
Right to the roundabout. Yeah. Yeah. Well, anyway,
Yeah, I'm going to wrap up the recording.
Somebody wanted to put info on some of those things in the chat. So if anybody
we'll put it
has
in the chat.
particulars,
And we'll have the open micers soon. But well, Anna, it was a delight. I'm so glad you were able to join.
can we get
us
one
too.
more?
And now you're in the
round of
archives.
applause? Yeah.
Thank you.
Yay.
Appreciate that.